We're live. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to 2OF Entertainment. And today we're very lucky to have four distinguished guests with us. These distinguished guests are coming through Huro AI, and Huro AI is an AI company that's, if you will, LinkedIn on steroids. Their goal is to make successful startups, instead of 90% failing, they want to help successful startups only have 30% failing, which I guess is better than 90%. And today we're going to talk to these four panelists, and these four panelists are Stuart Kerr, who boasts 30 years as a tech leader, steering 5 positive exits, orchestrating 2 IPOs, and he's really poor. He's only done 2.5 billion in sales and whatnot, so in exits. So he's a poor guy, but we still like him. Valentina or Valentine. Valentine is a strategic person with 20 years of global finance and service. She's an alumni of both McKinsey and Bain. She advises startups and heads of nations like Tony Blair, the CEOs of Fortune 500 and 100 companies. Dr. Leon is an inventor and FDA-approved wearable monitor. He's raised $1 million in 2008 when the stock market was not that good. He's Global Digital Health 100 Companies as a Forbes contributor, a senator for the WBAF of the G20. And then we have Andrew Lee Miller. He's a Silicon Valley digital marketer expert responsible for 200 million in startup exits with experience in Tinder. So he'll be swiping right or left most of the day and living social. He's the best-selling author as well as Growing Hacking, a book. And we'll get his link and we'll put it below for the rebroadcast. So welcome, everybody. If I screwed up anything, now is the time to make it right. So I apologize in advance. Okay. So the purpose of this from Cheryl Cunningham, who's the founder or co-founder, I guess, of Huro, is to ask you a series of questions. So people that are either have a business, want to start a business, try to figure out how they grow their business so they can be like you, if you will. They can do a proper exit. So I'm really just going to ask you all the same question because I'm assuming all your responses will be different. It's not a presidential debate. Whoever wants to go first, jump in. I'll make sure all of you do it. If you guys want to share ideas at the same time, we're totally fine. Okay. So the first question we have is, what's the single most important factor that an entrepreneurial should focus on in an early stage to lay the foundation for a potential billion-dollar company?
I can go first there. Sorry, Stuart, I didn't raise my hand.
Andrew.
I get a lot of people that reach out to me. I got a great idea. And then I just go to Google and search those things and find that it exists or that there's too much competition. You want some competition, otherwise, there might not be a market for it. But you always start with market research, really making sure that there's a market, and you need a revenue model from the very beginning. And, if you're going to do something in social media and you're going for billions of users, then you can figure out a revenue model along the way. But you should always have those things proven beforehand.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Stuart?
Sure. What I found is you got to prove out your product market fit. And while that seems obvious, it's more than just what you conceive of in the boardroom or on the whiteboard. You've got to get out there and test it in the wild. And I can't tell you how many times we've started a company with one intention, only to find out the real value was somewhere else that most of us had overlooked. Right. I had the fortune of working for Steve Jobs in the early years. He built Next. That was going to be the computer to rival Apple. It was a $10,000 gorgeous computer targeted at college students. Nobody could afford it. It was an absolute failure. But the operating system and the application development environment became the engine behind the next 20 years of growth at Apple. So figure out where the gains are, figure out where the value is. That's what you want to double down on.
Very cool. Valentina?
Yes, Valentina, not Valentina.
Now it's Valentina. Sure. Before it was Valentine, now Valentina.
That's
so,
right.
Okay. By the end of the show, I'll get it right.
No. So in my experience, the most important thing that a startup can have, and it's the biggest success factor, is to have the right team. The team that works together well in good times and in bad times. The team that can pivot. The team that recognizes when they have a gap in skills, a gap in understanding, the team that brings in new people, that replaces team members successfully. Because of all the things that Andrew and Stuart have already said, things will come your way that are unpredictable. They will require pivots all the time. They will require changes in strategy. They will require adoption. And if you have a team that works well together, then they can succeed regardless of the situation. So the number one success factor is the team.
Is the team? All right. Dr. Leon, you're last.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, thank you. It was amazing to listen to you. Oh, so beginning of the company is actually a genesis of the potential. And first of all, what I help companies and teach my students is how to deal with uncertainty and how to plan through uncertainty. So all other stuff, it's good. We have to plan it as well. But how to deal with uncertainty when you don't know what is it, what I am doing, what is the market. This is the most important. And there are specific tools how to do it. And if they're not ready to deal with uncertainties, they cannot build anything because they will jump from one idea to another idea, waste of time, waste of money. By the way, at this time, it will be so-called money, family, friends, and fools. And finally, they come to situations that they don't know what to do next. So deal with uncertainty, learn about it, and be ready psychologically and plan what you're going to make.
Mm-hmm. So basically, everyone's kind of almost saying the same thing. Well, market as well, right? So it's almost like you're using game theory. In the old days, we played Go, or if you guys now, I guess the young kids play chess or checkers, but we would play Go. You guys call it game theory or what if game. So really, it's always playing the what if game. So there's nothing that surprises you as you go A through Z, and there's a curveball. You've kind of planned for it, and it seems like that's kind of what you're all saying here, in your own different way, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Good thought.
Well, that's it for the day for my thoughts, by the way. I just want to let you guys know. I have one good thought a day. I'm happy. The next question is, when you're doing a Series A, could you share a story from a company that you led where the innovation or unconventional strategy or thinking propelled the company's growth trajectory in a massive way?
Sure.
Okay.
I've got one if that's all right. So these days when companies build out software solutions, they build it to integrate with one another. And we have APIs, but it wasn't so long ago, a lot of those APIs didn't really exist, and you had to wire those together. We had launched a company called Vitria that did what's called enterprise application integration, having software A talk to software B to software C. When I arrived, we'd been there, been in business 3 years. We'd done 7 million life to date. We saw an opportunity to take our product to a really big prospect as a customer, but we were competing with companies 10 times our size, 100 times our size, guys like IBM. We were a startup and we were absolutely outgunned. So what we did was we took a risk and we said, we're not going to pitch what the customer asked. We are going to say the customer's looking at the problem wrong. The problem really needs to be refocused in this context. And in doing so, we used that opportunity to rephrase and reframe the problem. And in doing so, we reframed it to an area that we did really well. We knew it was a risk, but we thought if the customer bought into our framing of the problem, they would also buy into our framing of the solution. That's what happened. They did that. They bought in with us. We ended up using that to close a $10 million deal that allowed us to really launch the company on our path to go public and eventually took it to a $12 billion market cap. So the lesson is whoever defines the problem for the customer and gets the customer to buy into their version of the problem really is extremely well positioned to succeed in the marketplace. Don't be afraid to do that.
Oh, very nice. Anybody else?
Oh, I can add something.
Sure.
Many companies which I was involved with, always we met some problem about how to pivot, and not exactly pivot 100% pivot like Twitter did or something else. Always in the beginning we are thinking about product, and I remember a lot of problems with these, and finally we come to suggestions that product is not enough. It should be also all system. It should be solution that we have to build. We have to build all infrastructure. We have to build all ecosystem around the product. And today, without this ecosystem, you cannot sell your product. So if you take iPhone without any applications, it's just iPhone. It's just telephone like 30 years ago. So all these application, iTunes, all these around created ecosystem around the iPhone and keep Apple $3 trillion company. And despite the fact for the last 10 years, they didn't innovate at all. And they still very highly valued because of specific ecosystem. So any startup, if they want really to grow, they want to build the product and think about ecosystem around the product like a solution from the day one.
Love that.
Cool.
I'll go. No, all of my answers are going to be really marketing related. But I think that a lot of them, I look back at a lot of the most successful projects I've been a part of. The biggest hockey stick growth moment came from an origin of maybe a stupid idea at a happy hour with the engineering team and things. And so a lot, when you were asking this question, I was thinking of specific stories of major growth hacking wins. And so I want to tell a story really quickly about, one of those examples of, I was at the time not super well versed with, engineering stuff, but, marketing and engineering get closer and closer together. And a growth hacker really is like a mixture of both of those things together. And so now we really work hand in hand. And I had been throwing out stupid ideas over a beer on a Friday with the engineering team. Can we do this? No, we can't do that. That's illegal. Can we do this? No, that won't work. You don't understand APIs, like Stuart said. I was like, what if we scrape all of it? Was a classifieds website. What if we scrape all the other classified sites and then get all the listings, mobile numbers by category? We can't do that. I think we actually can write a script that'll do that. And then, 3 days later, we have 75,000 cell phone numbers categorized by what someone is posting online. And then in this country specifically, it was legal to do bulk SMSing to people. And we ended up, having a superior product. And the message was just, hey, I saw your blank online. You should try this website. It's way better. And crushed the competition and led to a 9-figure exit within like a year of doing that, because we notified all the local people about this superior product. And so I think that when growing a company, it's not just all the traditional channels of running paid ads and doing PR and focusing on SEO. There's always, unique things to the industry and to that world that I think there's opportunities to growth hack major success out of.
Very cool. Thank you.
Let me add maybe a couple points, slightly different. I think looking for a breakthrough, an innovation, or something really, really drastic as a way to succeed is impractical in my experience. Things like that happen extremely rarely. You cannot really protect an idea. Idea is not protectable. So things and very, very rarely those things happen, just like winning a lottery. And I think building a business plan and expectations on building a lottery is probably not a good strategy. So companies that do succeed and succeed well around Series A and maybe earlier or maybe even later, what they realize is that there are no shortcuts to being successful. You cannot shortcut through hard work. You cannot shortcut through building an ecosystem. You cannot shortcut through doing the right marketing strategy. You cannot shortcut through building the right team and investing in people. So that innovation, that breakthrough is an understanding that it takes hard work. There are no shortcuts, and you have to be committed to doing this the right way. And then you have the respect of your ecosystem, you have the respect of your partners, you have the respect of your team, and they know that they can count on you and you will do the right thing and you will succeed. So that's my 2 cents for this one.
Very nice. Very cool. All right. Next question. Remember, these aren't my questions. They were pulled from a hat. So the next question, in a Series B, at the same Series B stage, a startup often needs to scale rapidly. What's one critical aspect that a startup should prioritize managing this scaling up efficiently?
I can start because I spent a lot of time exactly on this quadrant, I would say, of company development. It's called operational excellence. And this is the most important, because round B is a scaling up. If seed round is all about market product fit, round A is all about gaining momentum. Round C is how to scale up. And so it's very important to understand interconnections and to build infrastructure to support scaling up. There is an interesting story. I don't want to tell the name of the company. They grew very quickly. So, J. Kerr. And they suddenly start to get almost 100% of churn rate. What happened? Because their customer success team wasn't ready to serve all these high growth. So they hired specific company. They spent millions just to close this lag between what infrastructure does and what sales does. And this is very important to follow in round B, operational excellence.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's all about scaling at that point. From a marketing point of view, it's really about looking back at previous campaigns, both organic and paid, and really scaling up, with more team investment, with more budget. A lot of, we usually move to a lot more in-person things like, events and big costly conferences and stuff at that stage where we have the money to invest in that to get to the bigger scale. Television ads even.
Right. You still have that? Television? No kidding.
Yeah. There's ad platforms now. There's actually digital platforms where you can buy TV ads, but I'm sure we all see late night in the United States specifically, a lot of .com ads on television these days.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then if you're a more traditional software company or technology company where you're doing, say, a B2B sales, I've had the benefit of living through about 8 of these S curves where you go through that rapid growth with firms. And I am amazed at how many people follow the siren song of the deal. This guy wants to buy from me, so I'm going to sell to him. This guy wants to buy from me, so I'm going to sell to him. And that all sounds great until you realize that your B-level investors are looking for you to prove that you can scale by increasing your number of customers and decreasing the cost to acquire those customers. So we found that we did far better by just picking a market and finding a segment that we could own and staying in that lane. So, for example, we went out and we were selling to HVAC companies. We would go into a specific market. We would find 3 of them. We would sell them. We would service the heck out of them. And then we would go after absolutely every other HVAC company in that city. And what we found is once we got 3 and then 6 and then 9, it became easier and easier and easier to get the rest of them because you became the default solution. That helps you prove to these guys that you know how to grow, how to scale, and can do it in a more efficient way. And that's a great recipe for asking them to give you the C round so you can really get to the big dollars.
Gotcha. Last but not least.
I don't have much to add here. I think all the main topics were covered. Series B is really where an early stage company has to prove that it can deliver with the same excellence on a larger scale. It's not easy. Oftentimes, it's the same founders that started the company. They are used to doing everything themselves, and now they're forced to, for good reasons, to delegate. And sometimes it's not easy to do that. They're forced to build new teams. They are forced to hire new people that can operate a different enterprise than the one they started a few years ago. So that ability to change leadership and change approach and start thinking more like a large company is very critical at this stage. Oftentimes, this is the success factor on the sales side, but not necessarily a very big success on the operational side. And this is the stage at which some early stage companies decided to exit or sell to somebody else because they realize that they don't have the necessary resources, they don't have the necessary know-how to run a bigger organization. So it's definitely an inflection point.
Interesting. Very nice. And then everybody that's watching, if you have questions, feel free to type them in and we'll get that panel to answer them. And this is the last question, and then we'll do some ad hoc, and then we'll bring in Cheryl and Mark. So a Series A and getting to the $1 billion exit, because I guess that's everybody's dream, right? Because they've all watched, the Kardashians growing up. So what's the pivotal moves that shifts of startups need from making from a Series A to pave the way to that $1 billion evaluation or exit? What are some of the pivotal things they need to do or think through, other than the things we've already discussed?
I can answer. I can start actually. I think round C is a pivotal shift that is around sustained innovation. Three things it should be there: sustained innovation, market expansion, and strategic partnership. So they have to master all these three things, and they have to use their gaining some uncharted territories, like they're strange. They have to know how to do it, how to get to the new markets. And this will be in round C, they're strange to get to the new market. So I think all these should be around these three things, plus some unique strangers, how to catch up new territories.
Very good. Anybody else? Wow, that was it. Doc, you did great.
Yeah. I don't know if there are any new things, because I think we covered all the success factors or main success factors already. So if you don't have those success factors firmly established and they're working well, then it's unlikely that you will get anywhere further. So I would.
That's true. So let me just ask you guys this. Go ahead, Stuart.
I was just going to say, but though, as we grow, we know that a lot of us start out one of many in an industry. When we get to the C round, you need to be pulling away. You need to be separating your business so you can be ready to be thought of as a leader. And to me, one of the things that we found is once we took our C round, we were at a company called Fleetmatics, and we knew we had to differentiate. We sold telematics, which is really essentially just tracking your vehicles. And there were dozens of firms that did almost essentially the same thing. Really hard to differentiate, really hard to do something that kind of stood out. And what we decided to do was to say it wasn't about our software and our technology. It was about what our larger clients were trying to do in their business. And when we mapped our technology to their business and we flipped the script and started talking to them about their operations, that's when we completely took off. So, for example, they had people that say, I didn't really care if you were Comcast where Bob was at 2:15 in the afternoon. But it was way more important to know where Bob was relative to the work order plan that Bob had for the day, where he had 8 jobs to do and he needed to get them all done by the end of the day. Being able to integrate our technology with their back-end software took us from being a point solution out on the periphery into a core solution they use to manage their operational flow. That completely transformed our importance to them. That led to an 8-figure relationship. And so when you're growing and you're in that C round, you need to create your own moat. And that moat needs to get deeper each time with execution as you add more and more significant clients. We found that to be a very big differentiator. And that's one of the things that we drove to the point of the IPO and beyond.
Gotcha. Very nice. So let me just ask you all this before, because soon our time is up, and then Cheryl or Mark are going to come. And then we have a surprise for all of you before they come that even Cheryl doesn't know about, just because it's fun for me. So what's one last piece of advice you would give to, whether it's somebody who's just starting out, like as my one partner would say, I have a brain fart, I'm going to do this, or somebody who's more mature down the road in their company? What's the one piece of advice either someone gave you or that you think they should know going forward?
I'll go first. It's kind of like what Stuart said at the very beginning is, that product market fit is totally essential, and it's never as easy as people think, but focusing militantly on customer and user satisfaction, you can never go wrong. It's not about how much money we're going to make. We have to get this many users by a certain deadline. It's getting the highest possible NPS, net promoter score, or a percentage of people that like and would recommend your product. That's usually the only green flag that you need to continue. If users are loving it, you can figure out everything else.
Gotcha.
It's a
Very
great
nice.
thought. And along those same lines, it's the difference between your idea and your $1 billion exit is you starting.
Doing
At
it.
some point, guys, you gotta have the conviction to take your idea and put it out there and have people say, that's the dumbest idea I ever heard. But then with a 15% switch, you might find something that isn't and is really on target. As Andrew said, leads to a great customer experience, leads to those NPS scores, leads to you bringing on the growth that Valentina was talking about, right? Giving us the opportunity to kind of grow that whole opportunity. It all starts with you having the guts to begin.
Mhm.
Kind of like just getting out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
You got to get out of bed and kick in the door.
Yeah.
And to build on that, Stuart, that was very well said. To build on that, choose the idea that you're really, really passionate about. The one that is just eating you inside and you cannot wait to get up and do it. Because life is too short, and spending your time on something you're not fun of, you're not passionate about, is not worth it. And there will be hard times. There will be very, very hard times. And when there is something that propels you, those hard times don't feel like work. And that's what you want. And you want to have your team just like that, who is living, breathing that idea.
Yeah, that's great.
Two important things we didn't touch yet, but it's very important. First thing is building personal brand. I'm a venture partner and investor, so the first thing I'm looking for when I get some pitch, I'm looking for in social media how founder or CEO is active in social media, because I want to know about this guy. I don't want to get something like black box. And his presence in social media shows me how he's good in this. Is he talking, I'm good in marketing. I just want to see how many followers he has in LinkedIn or Facebook. If he has 1,000 followers, he is not good in marketing because I don't know. So social media is a very good indicator about capabilities of people to connect, to negotiate, and to show themselves, because if they cannot show themselves, they cannot show a company behind them. This is first. Right. Second, specifically at round C, it's very important to get some influencer on the board. I didn't see any unicorn without influencer, former CEO of the Forbes, Fortune companies, or something like this. It should be, it's must to attract very high level persona into the company. If founder cannot do it, he won't be able to get to unicorn level.
Interesting. Very nice. Well, thank you, everybody. So before you run away, I'm going to show you something I don't think any of you have seen. I have seen it. I think Cheryl has seen it. She doesn't know we have it. So we're going to play this, and then I'm going to bring Cheryl and Mark in to say thank you to everybody. And I can see her already in the green room panicking. This is the best for me. So I'm going to play this, and then everybody who is part of the Zoom call after the show, they can go, but we'll bring everybody in 1 second. So let me just do this, and then everybody can say hello. And
making the right connections is vital to your business and professional success, but reaching out to strangers is awkward and mostly a waste of time and resources. Imagine a world where AI takes the hassle out of networking. Enter Huro, your noise-free professional network powered by AI. What's so cool about Huro? How about getting your own AI networking assistant that's dedicated to solving your challenges by handpicking connections and opportunities that are right for you? But Huro does more than just meaningful matchmaking. We equip you with a customized storefront accessible to anyone on or off the Huro network to help enhance your brand and boost your revenue, making it easy to turn those meaningful connections into valued customers, all within Huro. Huro is networking as it should be, meaningful conversations with well-meaning people without the noise.
And there you go. And now we'll bring in Mark and Cheryl, and then they can say thank you to you guys. And then I'll introduce Mark, and then everybody on our panel. I want to thank you personally. It was a pleasure meeting all of you. Hope you didn't mind my sarcasm a little bit. So we'll hope to see you guys again. You're more than welcome to come back anytime you want on our channel and talk about what you guys do, because I think our people would find it wonderful. And for you guys, we thank you. And now we're going to kick them loose. And Cheryl, I didn't know, and Mark, if you want to say goodbye to your panel mates here as we kick them goodbye.
Bye, guys.
So,
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
see you
Thank
guys
for
later.
having me.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank
Cheers. We take them one at a time, or they can click themselves, but we'll do it because that's what we do here. And there you have it. Stuart, see you later. Okay, now it's the three of us. Let me introduce Mark, and I'll give a little wider screen here because nobody just wants to see me. And Mark, when I read this, I have to tell you, I got very excited. And then I read it twice, and it said you were part of the Justice League. And I'm like, Superman's coming. This is very exciting. And then I realized it was the Truth in Justice League. And I was like, I'm still excited. A little more excited when I thought Superman was going to show up today, but we're good. So just so everybody knows, Mark is a distinguished lawyer with a profound commitment to justice. Mark specializes in complex medical and scientific cases, resulting in over 10 billion in settlements. He's the founder of, as I said, Truth and Justice League, a movement dedicated to holding toxic polluters accountable and restoring the ecosystem. So it's nice to have you here, Cheryl and Mark. I'm going to leave. It is all you. And when you guys are done, thank you for everybody for watching. This will be a rebroadcast later today. You can also get this as a podcast if you missed anything, and all the links will be below. Have a wonderful rest of your show. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Hey, Cheryl. I've known Cheryl for a long time. I met her while we were making a movie years ago. And as I like to joke, she got left on the cutting room floor. But we've been friends ever since. And she's one of those people that I respect for her level of creativity, her intelligence, her drive, and just that something extra. So, Cheryl, I've seen you working 90-hour weeks through herniated discs, swollen ankles. You're a mom. You've worked in television and film. You've done several small businesses. You're going all the time. What drives you?
My goodness, it's just this deep engine within me. I think it's ever since I was young. I've really battled a tough childhood, and it just gave me the kind of grit and perseverance that you really need as an entrepreneur. Unfortunately, not a lot of people get to be lucky and have a not so great childhood. So for those that don't have not so great childhood, you really, like Valentina was saying, you really got to follow that passion that propels you, because without that, you don't have a drive, you don't have a cause, and that means that you're just going to be swerving all over the road and not really having a direction.
Yep. So Cheryl, why Huro and why now?
I don't know if everyone understood what that ad was all about, but let me just quickly talk about it real quick. So in bottom, to put it simply, Huro is essentially a LinkedIn on steroids. It's powered by AI, and it's really designed for SMBs. It's really designed for the startups. And it's really designed to reduce the time that startups take to find connections, take to find advisors, co-founders, whatever it may be, that whatever process or phase you are in your startup or SMB journey, we are striving to really reduce that time so that your failure is going to be reduced, or your success is going to be really increased. And why Huro now is because my personal experiences 25 years ago was when I started my entrepreneurial journey. And I've had many, many different startups ever since, I was 17 years old. So I'm in my 40s now, if you're doing the math. And through all these startups, I can't get away from entrepreneurism because it's deep within me. Okay. But through all the startups, I've had a really tough time, Mark, and you know this. Tough time in that, the startups are not easy. And if you heard what all the advisors said, you really got to just buckle down and have grit to follow your guts. And unfortunately, this journey that a lot of startups are on, they're very, very difficult journeys. And you lose a lot of people along the way who don't understand your passion, who don't understand that, you have to dedicate the time to it. You may start neglecting your family, your children. And for me, that's really what drove me in the first place. It's because I, as a single mother, I had to battle between, choosing between my business and my family and my son. And it was a very, very difficult choice. And, back then, before AI became popular, there really wasn't a way to help me. Okay. So I actually created this for a very selfish reason. And the reason was to alleviate my need for help. When I needed money, when I needed advisors, when I needed guidance, they were not there, or the right ones were not there, or not enough money. And so, that really caused some of my business failures. And what I wanted to do was create something that could finally help entrepreneurs. We're always looking to help the world. And I wanted to create something where entrepreneurs were finally being helped themselves to alleviate, their challenges, and for them to lead better lives because of that. So they'll have more time to spend with their children, more time to spend with their families. I think that's really important.
Yeah, Cheryl. Say it for a minute. Just talk about what you see as the time in this world's development that there's the rise of this entrepreneurial class because of the, where I'm coming from. Why it's important to empower the visionaries and the entrepreneurs, because the ordinary jobs are gone. Right.
Here's what's really interesting. I'll throw out some numbers at you. I was told by somebody in Antler that they had 130,000 applicants last year. And if you know Y Combinator, they're an accelerator as well, one of the most well-known accelerators in the world today. They had over 44,000 applicants just per single cohort. And all these accelerators can only help less than 1%. So what happens to all these people with big dreams? They finally see the AI tool that can help them pursue their business in a big way, and they reach out for help and they don't get it. And so my idea is to let's collectively put all our wisdom together in a network, in a professional network, and use AI to then synthesize all this professional wisdom that we all hold in our head, and let's share this wisdom with each other. And that's what Huro is really all about.
Cheryl, what does Huro stand for?
It's the amalgam of human, which stands for the HU, robotics, RO, and AI, of course.
Okay. And okay, now tell me about your logo that you've got.
Oh yeah, okay. I don't know if we can share a logo, but the logo is a phoenix rising from the ashes. So that stands for this new era where we are really reinventing ourselves. Humanity is reinventing ourselves because of AI, right? So now you have a chance to really pursue your dreams and do what you really need to or want to in a big way. And then right in front of the bird is a big star, and that's the North Star. Everybody needs a guide, and everybody needs a strong North Star to guide them in what they're doing, in being more positive, being more of a positive influence in the world, not just within themselves and their family, but in the world as well. And the 3 stars around that big star stands for body, mind, and spirit. So what we really stand for is to take care of, to make sure that every decision that we make is towards a better humanity in body, mind, and spirit.
What's next?
Here's my prediction of the world, right? I believe that we will head towards a future, or at least this is the world I envision, the world I would like to see. We're heading towards a future where AI can actually help run our business, so that we can take a seat back and spend time with our families, pursue a better, health and well-being. And if you like meditation, if you are a spiritual person, become a more spiritual person. If you've always wanted to pursue that health side of things and you don't have the time to do it, and you're a startup founder, this is your opportunity to use something like that, like Huro and what Huro is building and heading towards that kind of a lifestyle.
Yeah. So, that fits with what I'm doing with Truth and Justice League and some of my other stuff. And that is that it's clear to me that humans are needing to perform at their very highest level now. We really do need ordinary heroes to step up, all kinds of us. And it's kind of under one might say, the worst circumstances. We're toxic, we're stressed, there's war, there's all kinds of stuff going on, but we've got to rise above that. And we have to find ways to do that. We have to find ways to become physically, spiritually, emotionally more healthy, and to become more efficient at doing what we do. We don't have time to waste anymore at things that are not important. I think it's our responsibility for all of us, for ourselves, for our children, to step up and do this. And I think this is part of that. It frees time. If your system works, it will free time and energy and guide people to where they will be able to do the things they want to do, and they'll be helping each other. Yeah.
Right. Exactly, Mark. I completely agree with you there. And that's why we're doing this, Mark, and your Truth and Justice League. I'm so excited about it, and, to be part of helping you achieve your dreams of, pursuing a better humanity in multiple different ways. Mark, you're pursuing truth and justice in multiple different areas in media, right?
Yeah.
And what we're doing and supporting what we're doing. And what other ways in medical too is right? Is that right?
Yeah, we're trying to help clean up the mess and stop the pollution train and the ineffective and controlling behavior that's been integrated into their system so deeply. But Cheryl, do they need to go sign up someplace now, or is that?
Yes. Actually, they can just go ahead and go to the Zoom, which is, let's see here. I think we can put the Zoom chat, the Zoom link in here. Let's see. So for those of you that have already signed on for a hands-on experience of building your page, please go ahead and go to the Zoom chat. Actually, go to our website if you want to sign up. You know what? Let me give you the Zoom link. All right, I'm going to put the Zoom number in here. If you go to Zoom and just put that number in, you should be able to enter into our Zoom hands-on workshop on how to build your brand, how to build a presence on Huro, so that when we do open up Huro to the public, you will have high visibility because you're one of the very first brands to join, and you're one of the first that have already built out a full profile page, full brand storefront. So go ahead and join us at Zoom. Use that number that's in the chat right now, and we'll see you there.
All right.
In a minute.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you,
Before you
everybody.
guys, before you run away, I'm going to give everybody the Zoom number because you put it in the private chat. So only us can see it. So everybody that wants to go to Zoom, if you want to go to Zoom and you want to type in 512-745-0533. That's 512-745-0533. And that will get you to how to learn how to use Huro AI. And in fact, two of our sponsors on other shows were watching, and they've texted me going, I want to be on Huro platform. So now they can go and be on the platform. So I'm sure they'll be excited. And thank you guys very much for your time today. We're going to end it with your commercial, and that's it. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Cheers.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mark.
Making the right connections is vital to your business and professional success, but reaching out to strangers is awkward and mostly a waste of time and resources. Imagine a world where AI takes the hassle out of networking. Enter Huro, your noise-free professional network powered by AI. What's so cool about Huro? How about getting your own AI networking assistant that's dedicated to solving your challenges by handpicking connections and opportunities that are right for you? But Huro does more than just meaningful matchmaking. We equip you with a customized storefront accessible to anyone on or off the Huro network to help enhance your brand and boost your revenue, making it easy to turn those meaningful connections into valued customers, all within Huro. Huro is networking as it should be, meaningful conversations with well-meaning people without the noise.